Hi, this is Farida from Molasses. Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Progcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Progcast. I'm your host Dario, and with me this time is Farida from the band Molasses, and she's calling from the Netherlands. Hi, Farida. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Molasses is a very new band, and the debut album Through the Hollow is just about to be released. But actually, you have had a big performance already last year at the Roadburn Festival, like probably around a year before the album is released now. And the Roadburn Festival was also more or less the spark or the reason why you guys got together to form this band. Maybe you could tell us a little bit how this happened, how you came together as a band as and formed Molasses.
Yes. Well, it was the initiative came from Walter Roadburn. He asked us individually if we would be interested in forming, well, a commissioned piece is what it's called, and if we wanted to write music, especially for that occasion, and well, we said yes because we were very honored that he asked us, and we were very ready to do something together. So it was like the perfect timing, I guess. And well, yeah, that's how it all came together and started. And in while we were doing this, we were very well. At one point, we were like, okay, there has to be more, you know. So then it started to be Molasses.
How did you come up with the band name? Is there a deeper meaning to it?
Yeah, well, obviously it is a song from one of the Selim Lemouchi and his enemies records or albums, and yeah, for me personally, it was an important song because it was the last thing that Selim and me worked on, so it's very symbolic for that part, and of course also the meaning of Molasses is. I think yeah, I explained it many times, but it's this syrup. It's this very thick uh, uh, um, substance. It's sticky. You can't let go. It's all in the theme that I was in, and I think we all were in at that moment. So it fitted really well.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you just told us about this commissioned piece of music or this commissioned show that you were playing last year at the Roadburn Festival. Was it the music that's now on the album, or was it different music?
Um, we I think we wrote like 70 minutes of music, especially for that show, and of course we had two songs on a single, on a maxi single. So that those two songs are not on the album, and for the album we wrote even more. But everything we played, except for those two songs, then are on the album.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I heard the album already, I had the
Yeah.
chance to listen to it in the last couple of days, 2 or 3 times, and I'm very happy for us and for who couldn't be there that you guys made it a record now, a studio record, and that this music is seeing the light of day, so to speak, as a studio record. So how did was the compositional process of how did the music come together in this new constellation of Molasses?
Yeah, well, when Walter asked us to perform at Roadburn, Oets and Ron already had music lying around. Like, okay, maybe one day, and I wrote, Ron said, I have this song, I wrote it for you to sing, and so there was some stuff already there, just waiting for the right moment, I guess. So that is how we proceeded also. I mean, I think we started this creative flow and while we were rehearsing and writing for the show, there was so much going on that it was endless, I guess. And so it was not so hard in the end to fill an album. It was like this energy was opened up, and then it was like sort of like a molasses, like the substance. It was
It was flowing naturally, and the chemistry was just right in between the band.
Yes, exactly.
Were you working more like a I would say old school band in the rehearsal room together, or everyone would prepare something at home and then show it to the others, and
well, it's I think a combination of those two. Sometimes we would sit here and have a drink and with the guitar, and then things just formed in a way. And but also Oets had some blueprint of a song, and he said it to all of us, and we listened and made it your own. And then we got back into the rehearsal room, and the song comes out of that. There's not one particular way we work, It's just how it goes. I don't know.
It happens. It happens when it happens. It happens in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful. What would you say are the main musical influences for Molasses, or how would you describe the Molasses music to people who've never heard of you guys or never heard of your music?
That's a very difficult question. I can hardly answer that because I don't know. I mean, it is. It's. I think it's influenced by lots of stuff that I cannot just name. I maybe can name 100 bands, which we are all influenced by, and everyone is so different in their taste and in their. So it's a combination of all that. So it's hard to explain what I can't name it, I think.
So to narrow it down maybe a little bit, when it comes to your vocal performance, is there any particular singers that are influences on how you approach vocal melodies and your vocal style, how you are singing, how you approach expressing yourself with your voice?
Well, when I was young, I would listen to Queen a lot, and Freddie Mercury he was an impeccable singer, and I always sang his songs as if I was on stage myself when I was really young. I'm talking about now. So that is a big influence for me. And then, of course, when I got like 11 or 12, some guys in my street introduced me to hard rock music, heavy metal, and then of course Ronnie James Dio came along, and I was immediately like struck by his performance. So he's a great influence also. But I think I listened to Billie Holiday a lot when I was a young child. So, and these are all impeccable singers. So I think it's a combination of all those really, really good singers that that influenced me a lot, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, and what about the lyrical content? I mean, in The Devil's Blood, you are not the lyricist for this band, as far as I know. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now with Molasses, you wrote the lyrics, right?
Well, it's
Or
not
some of
that
them?
I've sat down. Sorry?
Yeah. Or yeah. Please.
No, well,
ahead.
it's not that I sit down and write a lyric. It's more like a combination of, especially Oots and me. We are very close and we work together on these lyrics very much. And I'm I don't know what's the correct English word for that, but I'm very much in my head. I have these feelings. I try to put into words, which is very difficult. I'm not a speaker. I'm not a word wizard or something.
Yeah.
So, but I try to translate these thoughts and these feelings into words and talk with Oots about them. And then it starts to get some form into lyrics. You know, he's a poet. I'm not. So we have this sparring thing going on between us, and then it works like that a little bit. I don't know if I can explain it any better to you, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are the themes, the lyrical themes through the Hollow album?
Well, you know, it's very much about life and death and everything that comes with it or goes with it. You know, there was so many grief and so many mourning, but also so many things that this is very difficult.
Take your time.
You know, you have. I'm trying, but I'm always struggling with finding the right words again. So there you have it, maybe. It's like, you know, life. I don't know. Maybe it's all about, I think, the struggle of life, maybe.
I think that is a very, very deep topic or a topic that can go very deep and is as broad as anyone would want it, so to speak. But it's also a very valid answer, of course, to that question. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, there is stuff, you know, in life that you really cannot put into words, but you know, you feel it, you're dealing with it, you're living with it, you're sleeping with, you do everything with that, and then there is, I mean, I found in life this really good thing to do, and that is to put it into art. Those things you cannot put into words, you can put it into art. And I think that's the whole thing about it. That makes it so difficult to explain what you are doing. I mean, because I'm doing it because I can explain it.
Yeah.
I cannot explain it. Yeah.
And that in itself was kind of a perfect explanation, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's about it, I guess.
So a lot of the music and the whole identity of your previous band, The Devil's Blood, was spirituality. That was a very, very big aspect of The Devil's Blood, of course.
Yeah.
How does it play into Molasses? Is it also there, or not so much?
No, I think, I mean, I'm a very spiritual person, and I think in one way or another we all are. So yes, of course it's there. Maybe in a different form, maybe not. It doesn't have a name or something, but I think it's definitely there. Yeah, for me, molasses is a very spiritual thing. Or yeah,
Um, I yeah, we were already talking about the music a little bit, and that it comes from a lot of different influences. When I just listened to it again earlier today, the intro to the album and the first song, which is the title track, "Through the Hollow," there's like this. Yeah, noises coming through. So I was just wondering, is it like a musical saw that's in there at the very beginning of the album?
you mean like a really singing song? The
Yeah,
song,
it sounds like that to me.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's not there. No.
Then I'm hearing something that's not there. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like
but that's great.
it's
That's
a
spiritual. You're
yeah,
hearing things that are not there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's like yeah, it's the intro works very well. Now, talking about the album still, of course, and now we're talking about the songs. Um, I had the feeling that the penultimate song, the second to last song, "Tunnel," is kind of a like a like an interlude to the last song, which is of course a bit different to the rest of the album musically.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that feeling, or is Tunnel for you like a standalone track, or is it has this feeling of yeah, of a leading from one place to another.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can. It is for everyone to interpret it as you will, of course. But I think the for me the album is a journey. It starts with Through the Hollow, and you know, via a tunnel you come to the end or to the beginning, or it's just the way you want to see it. But so yeah, it evolves. Is that an answer to your question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a last question about the album specifically. Yeah, the album artwork is very strong with that strong but simple with that blue color and these shapes.
Yeah.
Um, can you tell us a few words about the artist you were collaborating with, maybe? And
Yes. Yeah. Well, he is my cousin, and he was very close. He is very close to me and to all of us, and he was very close from the beginning of Molasses also. So the themes that we are or that's in the album is also something that he feels very how do you say
very strongly about.
related, yeah, very strongly about related to. So it's something that fits very well because of that. There was no words needed. We didn't have to tell him what he has to make. It was just, okay, I have this idea, maybe I can work out, and then this was the outcome. And yeah, it belongs to each other. It's one thing, I think.
It's one piece of art combined, the whole album. It's definitely
Yeah.
an artwork that stands out among your typical psychedelic or prog rock album artworks,
Yeah. Yeah.
with a strong visual sense and also message maybe. Like, and the message is for everyone different, I guess.
Yeah, always. I mean, when you're making something, it's your own message or a message to yourself or whatever, and then when you let go, it's out there, and then you have nothing. It's not up to me anymore. It's up to the viewer or the listener or whatever, and it's all good, of course.
Yeah. We dived deep into the making of Through the Hollow, a very very interesting way of that this band came to life, and an amazing album. I really really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm stoked for the world to listen to it. I would like to ask you a question about the whole like globally, the kind of hard rock scene and stuff, with you being a female vocalist in a predominantly male scene, so to speak. Do you feel how do you feel about this? How do you feel about the participation of female musicians in this still very male-dominated world? Did you feel any, like, you've been in the scene for a long time now, also as a performer, as a vocalist, as a musician? Do you feel or see any a change in attitude from the scene, or also in participation from more female musicians making music in this and yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying or asking. The thing is, I am a woman. Yes, that's very obvious. But I've never really felt that there is a problem, or that I had to fight for anything, or not in the scene, at least. Maybe in life, sometimes yes. There are a lot of women are dominated by men, yes, but I never had that experience, to be honest. So I really, I don't know. I don't have that feeling. It's never been a problem for me. So what can I say about it? I think, maybe.
I mean, I was asking for your personal experience in the scene, of course, and I'm happy to hear that you didn't experience any hardships or difficulties because of that.
When you talk about it, there probably been some experiences which were not fun or not good or whatever, but I've never experienced them as me being a woman and the other one being a man. Just so maybe I'm the wrong girl to ask. I don't know.
That's all right. Finally, we have a little section in our show that we like to call "What's in Your Walkman," where I ask my guests what they've been listening to lately. So I would like to invite you, as we are always putting together a Spotify playlist that accompanies this episode, to give some recommendations, what you've been listening to lately, to your fans. Anything that comes to mind immediately?
Yeah. Well, what I've been listening to a lot these last months, actually, is I have to look it up, because otherwise I'm not going to say it right. So I have my, so to speak, Walkman right here. And it's called the Al-Andalus Ensemble. And the record is called 21 Strings. And it's all instrumental. And it's very... it is like Andalusian music, so it's Spanish and Arabic combined. And
cool.
For me, I love it. It's a very beautiful record and very
Any song that
Uh,
that you would pick to show someone as a
yeah,
teaser?
well, as a teaser, the first song of the album is called Afghano. Afghano. I don't know how you pronounce it correctly, but it's very atmospheric and it gives some peace of mind.
That
For
sounds
me, at
great.
least, it does. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna add it to the playlist. Of course, I'm gonna put the Molasses singles, the 3 singles. I'm gonna put in there as well.
Okay.
Any other song you want to recommend? Otherwise, I also have always something in my Walkman for our listeners to recommend.
Okay, well then take your song because I'm. This is going to take a long time. I'm working on so many things right now that I must say that I don't listen to many music at the moment
That's
because other things. Yeah, sometimes.
that's perfectly fine. So
Yeah.
since I have so many interviews these days, actually, like never before, I'm kind of thought, okay, I'm running out of things to recommend here, especially
Yeah.
things that might fit a little bit sound wise to the band that I'm
Hmm.
featuring in the show. But then I made kind of turned it around and it was like, okay, now I have, especially with a new band like Molasses, I've never heard before because it's obviously the debut album. Um,
Yeah.
I thought, why not pick something that and I got reminded of by listening to Molasses now and like went back to it because there was some connection made in my mind, and
Yeah.
that was of course one was an album by another Dutch band that's kind of related to Molasses, and that's Dool.
Okay. Yeah.
They have a new album out this year. Earlier this year, they released a new album, Summerland, and I hadn't listened to it so far, so that was a perfect
Okay.
opportunity to go back to it and listen to it. It's called Summerland, and I'm gonna put the title track of the album in there. From the United States, an album that came out last year from a band called Dreadnought. The album's called Emergence, and I'm gonna put the song Pestilent in there. It's some dark folky stuff, but not folky in a Finnish humpa way. So it's
Not folky
dark.
in a happy way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has also a lot of black metal influences, something I'm not usually keen of, but it's a dark and beautiful record at the same time. So Pestilent from Dreadnought, and yeah, finally a song that came out today as we're recording this show, because the last song of Through the Hollow, The Devil Lives, for me had a bit of a Blue Oyster Cult vibe, and Blue Oyster Cult
Okay.
released a new single today, which is called Tainted Blood, and I just listened
Oh,
to it,
really?
and it's compared to the Blue Oyster Cult, from the 70s, 80s, the classics. Um, which I was reminded of by The Devil Lives from Molasses. It's way more polished in the sound and production sense, but it's a
Hmm.
cool song, and they have a new album out, or they're about to release a new album called The Symbol Remains on October 9th. So yeah, it's gonna be out when this episode is out. So these would be my 3 recommendations here.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed having a chat with us here at the Prog Space. I certainly did. Thank you for the music, Farida. Thank you for uh, taking your time to talking to us, and all the best with the release of Through the Hollow. I really hope that the global state of the world will go back to a state where live music will be more possible, hopefully next year. And I would be very much looking forward to seeing you live performing these cool songs. If if the world goes back to where that's possible.
Yeah, well, of course I hope so too, but I think we have to have a little more patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's so many great albums coming out, so they will help us tide us over until we can go to concerts again. So
Yeah.
that's it for this episode. Thank you, Farida, again. Thank you to our listeners for listening, for tuning in. And as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and listen to great music.
I will for sure, and thank you for your recommendations.
The Progcast is a production of Stewis Media and is presented by the Prog Space. It is produced by Randy M. Salo, Janine Stango-Lewis, Blake Lewis, Kai Metzner, and Dario Albrecht. Our theme music is by This Is Not an Elephant.